last night, and the story about the the oil and the speculators driving up the prices. I was screaming at the TV when I saw that. Did you watch that?
You didn't believe me when I was telling you here like 3-4 months ago this whole story?
Just the fact, was it Morgan Stanley owned like 15% of the oil market? They were physically buying and storing oil.
Yeah.
And it's not against the law.
And they said they decided to bring the heads of ExxonMobil and BP in front of Congress and wave their fingers at them, and they had no control over the situation. When I see I told you so moments, I call them, I write about stuff and I talk about stuff. Usually when it happens, it's a bad thing. So a lot of people feel vindicated because they say, oh, I see, I told you so, I was right. I see, I told you so, the Giants were going to lose, even though I was rooting for the Giants. For me, it ends up being a bad situation, and that's exactly what happened, is the fact that speculators got into the oil markets to such a great degree. They drove the prices up to $150 a barrel. Nobody wanted to listen. This has been going on for years now. It's a slowly but surely but a trickle, and they just rushed out of it now, and that's why we have the lower prices. But I don't think that can't happen again. Of course
now it's oil is under $39 a barrel.
Yeah.
And now the price of gas is going up. What's the deal with that?
Well, the oil prices were higher last week, and just over the past several days, they've gone down precipitously, and then you're going to see gasoline prices come back down again. But don't think that this can't happen again. Don't think, we've had bubbles, and you talk about the tulip bubble where, ages ago, and it's happened, .com bubbles, when a lot of money flows in one direction. The problem I have with commodities is the fact that these markets were designed, like they were explaining on the program, to help farmers, to help the airline companies hedge and understand what they were going to be paying for prices. When you allow people that are never going to accept delivery of the product. I lived in downtown New York for a long period of time, and nobody in downtown New York was accepting barrels of oil at any point in time. It doesn't happen, and you can. This is where all the speculation comes from.
Isn't this something that we should be learning from history repeating itself, and we're just not? In situations like this, with these bubbles that you're mentioning?
Well, the funny thing is there's a very nefarious relationship between Washington, D.C. and Wall Street. The people that run Wall Street and Washington, D.C. are the same people, same schools, same clubs. They're meeting each other for martinis late in the afternoon. They fly in each other's planes. And make no bones about it. There was even been talk this past week, about the amount of money that's being spent on the inauguration. Where's that money coming from? Well, it's coming from Wall Street, coming from Wall Street executives. They basically pay their way into these situations, and Washington, D.C. also likes the tax revenue that they generate as well. So we never really ever see any true type of reform. You get the Elliot Spitzers from time to time that wave their finger, but if you really take a look at what he did, he basically issued a parking ticket. A couple $1 billion fine, that's nothing to these guys. That's a Staples bill for a month. It's nothing, and nothing really changes.
I was watching, to shift gears a little bit here, I was watching It's a Wonderful Life. I watched it for the first time in a couple of years. I got my kids into it. But there are some themes in that film that are really relevant today. You're talking about people losing their homes, and the suicide rate is now going up, I was reading, because of the things, the financial situation.
Well, I didn't read anything about. You're seeing a couple high-profile suicides in regards to major financial collapses. You had one of Germany's wealthiest individuals commit suicide last week, and you also had the Villa Shea in New York. He was heavily involved in the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, commit suicide. And I kind of take a look at in their situations. I take a look at them saying, well, I want to sound gruesome, but I think it's a bit of a cowardly thing to do. You did something wrong, or you made a mistake. You want to go ahead and fix that mistake. You took the easy way out in that situation. As far as the suicide rate is concerned in regards to foreclosures and the various different things that happen, sometimes foreclosure is actually a good thing for a lot of people. If you went in and you bought a home and you didn't put any money down, and you've been paying on it for the past couple years, all you've been basically paying is interest. You've been paying rent. Okay, it's not really your home. It's the bank's home. Until you pay for the house, you got a deal. You got a partnership going with the bank. And right now, I'm looking right now to refinance my home because I'm taking a look at the rates out here that are absolutely outstanding.
How can you not?
15 years I'm taking off my 30-year fix, and I'm going to be paying less than I pay now.
Wow.
You can take advantage of some of these things right now, and I would strongly suggest you doing so. It can definitely help clean up your balance. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars of savings to my household.
Right.
Other people can do the same thing.
Are you having to pay points for that?
The one I'm looking, well, I'm basically negotiating between various different financial institutions. I already have, a decent amount of equity in my house, so they're kind of, bartering with me back and forth. But take advantage of these things right now, because they're not. I mean, you're not. When was the last time you had rates this low? I mean, they don't come by that often. Take advantage of it, please.
Good advice from the Watchdog on Wall Street once again, Chris Markowski.
Hey.